Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 197 in the book of Genesis. So today we're going to ask, what are the must-dos of life? And we're going to get them all from Genesis. What are the must-dos of Genesis? So number one is, you must start a relationship with God. Actually, the fact is, He started it. He leaned in. He makes it possible. I'm thinking of Genesis chapter 15, verse number 1. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Fear not, Abram, I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great. So he tells him not to be afraid. He tells him that he is his shield, and he tells him that he is his reward. It's one of the central themes of the entire Bible, restated in every generation from Abraham, Isaac, Hannah, Samson, Barak, Hezekiah, everybody. And every great believer, or not so great believer, until today. So you get the chance, I get the chance, Abraham, the same chance that Abraham gets, all our forefathers and foremothers get, we get. Don't be afraid. I'm your shield. I'm your great reward. God promises, offers himself. You get me. Essentially, I am your reward, God being that person. So your prize is ultimately a relationship with me. So your real prize is a big dose of me, says God. I'm your shield. Ephesians 6:16 says, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish the flaming darts of evil. Jesus is the shield, and he's like the appropriation of this long relationship. So you are my portion and prize and partner in relationship. So what else could be so valuable? So your stuff or your heritage or your legacy? No, it's this relationship with God that's absolutely key. So you must be in a relationship with God. That's number one. The second thing is, I think we should expect judgment. We have a holy God, but let's trust him in faith to do the things he says regarding fixing that judgment, which is, we expect judgment on one hand, but we also expect the crediting of faith to work. So this is a big theme in Genesis. We have to have the faith of Abraham. It's credited to Abraham. Abraham has faith, and all this other spiritual benefits is credit to him. And that's kind of the plan we're on. There's no plan B. So the Lord solves the problem of how do you take this relatively unfavorable group of people full of sin and have them enjoy fellowship with God forever. Well, we have to fix our sin problem somewhere in there. So Genesis 15:6 is the big verse. And he believed God, and he counted it to him as righteousness. God counted it to Abraham as righteousness. So Abraham, by faith, he does the faith thing, and then God does the crediting and gives him all these other benefits. So Abram believed the Lord, and God counts it to him as righteousness. Now, this is an expectation of all who walk with the Lord. This is a must do now. So how do sinners fellowship with God? How do imperfect people try to have a relationship with God? Well, we have to trust that this is one of God's principles of his economy, that one gains benefits that you don't specifically earn. How do you do that? By faith. All right, so number one is you got to have a relationship with God. Secondly, you have to expect that faith counts. You have to expect this righteousness plan of God to actually work. And why is that? Well, because he said it. And then the third thing I want to talk about today is you must expect trouble. Warren Weirsby had this great quote, your faith has not been tested until we have been asked to bear what seems unbearable, to do what seems unreasonable, and to expect what seems impossible. So you cannot read ahead in Bible stories. That's one of my principles about Bible reading is, don't read ahead. And just assume, because you know how it turns out for a person, that it was easy on the days when they were having to exercise their faith. On the day when Abraham started marching against the 9 armies, or the night when Jacob wrestled with the Lord himself, or Hagar going off into the wilderness and trying to decide whether she's going to trust the Lord, or Joseph going to prison and slavery for 20 years before it all kind of turns out okay. No, in real progressive time, their days seemed unbearable and unreasonable and maybe impossible. So God's kind of telling us, don't say I didn't tell you that it's going to be difficult. In this world, you're going to have troubles, it says in the New Testament. So our faith must be one with boots on and swords drawn. That's one of the fun thing about the Old Testament is you see the walking out with putting their boots on, strapping on their figurative and literal swords sometimes. So for those people and for us, some days it will seem impossible. This one day at a time and living out our faith is going to seem like testing. It's going to seem unbearable. It's going to seem unreasonable. And sometimes it's just going to seem impossible. So number one, we have to have a relationship with the Lord. Number two, we have to expect the God's plan of counting it as righteousness. We have to expect that works because he said so. And then thirdly, we have to expect trouble. And then fourthly is let's expect help, his presence. We're seen by him. God is in the business of seeing the unseen. He's in the business of raising the lowly. He's in the business of making good out of evil. He's in the business of changing character. He's in the business of receiving the wrestlings that we have with him and maybe sometimes even against him, the longings and frustrations of humanity as we try to understand God. So you, dear listener, are not unseen. You are not forgotten. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. So you have to be in relationship with him. You have to have faith in his provision. You have to expect difficulty, but also expect help. Help. So let me conclude with Psalm 173, verse 25. Sing with me. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. But for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the Lord God my refuge. That's my prayer for me and prayer for you today. Thanks for listening.